Awesome. Well, welcome to the Mailbox Power Mastermind call, where currently every Tuesday evening at 5 p.m. Pacific, we get together and mastermind as affiliates on how to share Mailbox Power with other people and how to grow your Mailbox Power business if you choose to grow it as, I'll put air quotes, business, because some people really just want to get their membership paid for, and then others are trying to create a side income. So that's what we're here to do. And we always like to start out the calls with wins for the week. So I'm going to open it up and let people share if they have a win for this week. And I'm pretty sure Lulu has another win.
Well, I do, because Paula became an affiliate this week, and I know she's going to do great things in her real estate office and be able to fund her Mailbox Power marketing budget and then some, and help other people.
Awesome. Now, Lulu, is Paula the one you were texting me about that's with Keller Williams?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Paula. We are excited to have you here, and myself and Mike and Andrea are the ones that Lulu was probably talking to you about with integrations and help with that, and helping you to bring on other agents in your office so that you don't have to do all the work. You can sit back and do what you do best in real estate, and let us help you take care of those people, because Andrea, Mike, and I are certified trainers with Mailbox Power. There's 5 of them currently. And you have 2 of them right here in front of you tonight on the call. So welcome.
Thank you. And I'm really interested in getting myself integrated so that I can see how it all flows.
Yep.
Because then I'll be able to better present to the other agents about why they should do it.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we look forward to helping you. So
thank you.
Oh, Damar is somebody new. I can't see his face, but I don't think Damar's ever been on either. So welcome. Has he?
He's been on. He's also one of my affiliates. Yeah, he's been on.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lulu only lets me do it like once or twice a month.
She doesn't want you to be too educated.
I want him to pass me up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet she wants you on every week, Damar.
Yeah, we'd like to welcome Machen. I think this is his first time.
Yeah.
Welcome, Machen, to the call.
I don't know. Is it?
Is it the first, or it might be his second? I think he's come in once or twice, but it's
early on you were here, I remember.
Yeah, he hasn't been hanging out with us every week.
Maybe like I've just missed a few since the beginning of the year, but I think maybe I've hung out with you maybe 500 plus times in these calls. I love what you're doing, and I've been watching the replays as much as possible. It's a timing thing. My wife's in a call too, so today I'm gonna risk it.
Well, and you have little ones at home, so
yeah, they're all running around. That's why I'm gonna risk it. That's why I'll be back.
Hopefully there won't be too many disasters.
I got the cameras on, and everybody's running around tearing up stuff, and they're great and playing Beyblades and all the crazy stuff. I don't even know the name of the toys anymore.
Awesome. Well, any other wins for the week?
So I don't know the game. I always, a win of the week could be anything, right? I had a win with Mailbox Power in particular, just as a follow-up tool. I started using it in my messaging when somebody goes quiet on me and all that good stuff. I'm just like, hey, just curious, like join the birthday club. And I started like my new consistency streak, and it gives me the ability to ask a question that's going to be part of my questions that matter in my business, and that's one of them. If I can show them how it works, and that's one of the first steps in me being able to ask a little easier with some authority there.
Awesome.
So yeah, it worked, and they said yes, and I went, oh yeah, I should use that for everybody.
Yeah, I should use that more often. It's a reminder because sometimes we forget. We get set in our ways, or we get, buried in family life or work life, and we forget to add somebody to that automation. And
I was buried in trying to make the bills. Like, I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
I need to talk to people. I need to talk to people. I need to get some business going. I need to get some and I get like, whoa, I don't like this feeling. Like, that's not what I was trying to do. I want to help people.
Yep.
And so I was like, what worked? Oh yeah, just show people. That works.
Awesome. Any others? That's going to lead right into what we're talking about tonight, Machen. So
yeah, I'm farming my neighborhood, and I have a smart plan in place in my CRM. And so I took it to the next level, and I automated direct mail to be delivered every 14 days to just the people surrounding my house. Like, the neighborhood's like 280 people. So I'm sending it to about 75 people. So every 14 days, they're going to get something. And I alternated it, like a 4x6 card, then a 5x7 card, then a bigger postcard, and kind of following some of the ones I had already seen. And then I did a second automation for expired listings. So in addition to the smart plan for them, I'm hitting them in the mailbox, and I'm literally hitting them like every 3 days.
Awesome.
So what I know is that there aren't any other realtors doing that. And I feel like in order for me to effectively show, just like Machen was saying, to show people how I can help them, I have to have it in place for myself.
Yep.
And I really like to create my own stuff. So I did everything in Canva and imported everything and set everything up that way.
Awesome. And if you have that ability, not everybody has the ability to create in Canva in that, then we are going to do a basics, and I say true basics, Canva training. If you want more than that, you'll have to talk to myself or Andrea, and I'm sure we can provide that, but the basics will be provided here. Maybe next week, we've got to figure out when, and we'll get that word out. But when you can do that and put your own personality into it and not grab something that others are using, likely nobody in your area is using it anyways, but it helps to bring out your personality so people get to know you and your brand, and you're not just marketing. So I love that, Paula. Thank you for sharing. And we look forward to hearing the success stories of the listings and that you're going to get from it. So congratulations and a welcome again. So I have a question. You just started. You started with Mailbox Power this week, or you just upgraded to affiliate this week?
I just upgraded to affiliate this week.
Okay. And how long have you been using the system?
Maybe, how long, Lulu? 4 weeks? Oh, I bought the Christmas. I came in right at the Christmas special.
Oh,
so
awesome.
the end of December. So the last day of December, pretty much, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're talking less than 3 months, and you've already got it up and running. This is the key to success with your customers. The quicker you get them up and running and successful and have automations going out so that they can see increases in their business and the ROI come back in their business, the more likely they are to want to share it with others and be able to tell people that it works. So I applaud you, Lulu, for helping her get up and running quickly, and then Paula to jump in right away and say, I see how powerful this is. And that's exactly what you need to do with new customers and new affiliates. So perfect, ideal example right here on the call tonight. So awesome.
Absolutely.
Damar.
I wanted to ask a question of Paula, and then a question back at you, Brenda.
Okay.
And then I've got to win after that. So essentially, Paula, do you pretty much manage your own business compared to other realtors? So every realtor really needs to have their own Mailbox Power account. Is that correct?
Yes, they do. And you can, Lulu and I were talking about this. You can have a team like that because teams like to function in the same system, but I feel like it gets confusing because you have to remember to make sure you're branding yourself. But if you're on a team, you're always branding the team lead. So in that case, it wouldn't really matter, right? So if I have a team, it's always going to be the Paula Fallon team, no matter what they do. So if someone wants to do it individually for themselves, they really need to have their own system so they can track what they're doing. And I think the most powerful thing, it's like, you know, how many times do we need to send out a thank you card to someone or maybe a sympathy card? And you're like, I don't have time to go to the store and I don't have stamps and I got to go to the post office. Like I just set up that thank you card. And then when I need to send it out to someone, I just copy it and type a quick thing that personalizes it and out it goes, you know?
Yep.
So that's the power, right? It's not just the automations, which are huge to me, huge. But it's also having the ability that on a moment's notice, when you need to send somebody a card, you know, even if it's your mother, for goodness sake, you know,
Especially
you
if
can
it's your
jump on
mother.
there and do a card and send it off, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's great. And then so the idea is if I walk into a realty office, I'm really wanting to find out who all the agents are to talk to, as opposed to like an office manager.
Well, you could go to the office manager, you could go to the person at the front desk, the gatekeeper, and ask them who sets up lunch and learns.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to come into the office and show your agents this product that will save them time and money and help them to get build relationships.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do it in a lunch and learn. And you know, a lot of offices will accommodate that. And then they'll set up a time for you to come in. You provide like pizzas or whatever, and you show people. You actually sit down and show them how it works.
Okay. Okay. Great.
So,
thank you.
Damar, the other thing I would say, a team account versus an individual account. Team accounts are great if the team leader is paying for it all. If the team leader wants the individual agents to pay for it, it is much easier if every agent has their own account, because then they have it for tax purposes to be able to do the write-off at the end of the year. The other thing I would say, and team leads don't always like it when I say this, so I'm going to preface this by, I know team leads might not like this, or insurance leads, is that the individual agent should take the lead and have their own account, because when it comes to insurance and real estate, the reality is lots of people change brokerages and change teams. And if you change teams or you change brokerages, guess what? If it's in the team lead, you've lost all of your systems set up and you got to start all over again.
Yep.
So you should always, in my opinion, you should always have your own account. So
I agree.
just my 2 cents on it.
Okay. So
And
then,
you had a win.
well, but I haven't got my question to
Oh,
you
okay.
yet. So why Canva when you have the ability to design your own cards within Mailbox Power?
That's an awesome question. So many people, like Paula, want things branded in their own colors. In Mailbox Power, we do not currently, I don't know when it might be available, I know it's on the list for future enhancements as a possibility. We cannot match colors. So we cannot match your logo colors and your brand colors exactly. So you build it in Canva, the basics. Obviously, you can't put first name or last name or any of the merge fields because we cannot search an image for text. So you build the basics in Canva, and then you can upload them in Mailbox Power, even if it's just background colors, to keep it in your brand color, and then do the text and things like that in Mailbox Power. Does that make sense, Damar?
It makes total sense.
So that would be the only reason why you would want to use, whether it be Canva or there's tons of graphic programs out there, whatever you're comfortable with, but Canva is a pretty basic, easy to use system. That 2 years ago, probably 2 years ago, Mike and I didn't even know about, and somebody said something. It might have even been Machen. Somebody told us about it, and we started playing with it, and it was like, wow, like you just have access to a lot more graphics and layout capabilities, and there's templates already there for different industries. You can go search real estate or insurance, and
And so one of the other things that I love about it is the back of my cards are all the same. It's a picture of me with a bubble around my head that says, my phone number hasn't changed and never will. Let's keep in touch. And then I put my phone number there. So it's like the same thing on the back of every single card. So when I have it in Canva, it's just already there. So it makes it easier for me if I'm creating a quick card that I already have part of it already established.
Love that.
Yep.
Can I
Love
just
it.
add something to that, Brenda?
Yes.
That just because Canva is a really super cool tool, and clearly there's a bunch of us here that love it. I'm speaking on behalf of Jim McCord right now. Probably never seen Canva and never will. He has only used the inside of Mailbox Power to design every single thing he sends out. And guess what? He's one of our top affiliates. So don't be intimidated by whatever our system has to offer, because it can be done. I've seen it personally. So I just wanted to put that out there because it can be very intimidating.
Well, and our system is extremely powerful. You don't need to use outside tools. The only time you pull those outside tools in is if you're trying to do something that the system can't, but that you want to do. Or you hire a designer to do it for you.
Someone's colors are a deal breaker, then that's really the only time it's ever been a concern to ever go use graphics or ask somebody else. We just ask Mailbox Power to make stuff. Some of my very favorite cards I've ever seen were made by Mailbox Power Design. I'm like, who did that? And they're like, Mailbox Power did it. They'll match the whole theme. The back of the card. Geraldine's one of my favorites. She has a disco ball. She's like a dance instructor, dance place. She has a disco ball, and then you open it up, you look at the front and the back, and it's all got that disco ball vibe to it, like the texture to it. So it works.
Yeah. So did that answer your question, Damar?
It did.
Awesome.
So the win, I met with a pharmacy owner on Sunday. He wants to open up. He had a pharmacy that was open before the pandemic, and then in June of last year ended up closing because he couldn't find help. So he asked me if I would be the pharmacist to do that, because that's what I do. But I said, well, in order to help you do that, we need to get the word out. And he says, well, what do you have for that? I said, well, there's this program, Mailbox Power, that they have postcards so that we can run a campaign, both for your patients, to let them know that we're out there, and then And then also for the doctors, to let the doctors know, okay, we're open again, so that they can start sending their patients over to the pharmacy, because the pharmacy is in a medical office complex. So there's probably about 20 physicians in that area. And he said, so what do they do? I said, well, basically they do everything. You get and I went over the executive program, get this many cards, and you just have to pay for postage, and you just put the person's name in and it gets sent out. He said, yep, sign me up. So
Awesome.
I just need to go back and get his credit card. And since there's going to be a little bit of downtime, I'm going to probably be the one to kind of get it started, which will give me time, paid time to learn the system and use it a little bit.
Awesome. Congratulations. Woo! Now, is that your first
It will.
sign up?
You always remember your first, right, Brenda?
Yep. Sure do.
And I'm not going to ask you if he's sitting next to you or not, okay?
Well, first sign up in Mailbox Power, or first sign up in my life?
Let's keep it PG and we won't go that far, okay?
Well, that'll be
Yeah.
great.
So awesome. Congratulations. And we look forward to hearing the success stories with that.
Yeah.
So that we can share that with other pharmacists so that they can also succeed with the system. So
Well, right. And that was the other side of it is just because I'm a coach, a business coach, and I primarily focus on pharmacies. So, all of them are complaining that they just don't have a lot of business. But when I talk to them, I said, what are you doing for that? And they're really not doing anything. I said, well, the simplest thing you can do is just go in your database and send out cards to people and just let them know that you're still out there, and if you're running a special. And I think Lulu and I kind of talked about this last week. And so from that standpoint, that's kind of a low cost marketing.
yep.
Well, and that's your wheelhouse too, is pharmacies.
Right.
So I think in the beginning, especially, certainly anybody can be a customer, but starting with what your wheelhouse is makes it easier.
Yeah.
If you don't really know what real estate agents go through, or car dealers or whatever, it's a little more difficult to find their pain points, but you know what it is for pharmacies and pharmacists.
Right.
Yeah, and Lulu, you hit the nail on the head. If you are a brand new affiliate to Mailbox Power and you are watching this, you are on now or watching the replay, always start where you are an expert. Because like Lulu said, the pain points, how it will solve their problems. And as that builds and you talk to more businesses, you will come up with the language and the vocabulary to be able to talk to others. So I would think pharmacists is your first, and then doctors would be another one, because it's right up the same alley. So stay in the medical. So many people here, it's great for real estate agents, and then they want to go talk to real estate agents, but they don't know the real estate lingo, and they fall flat on their face and they get discouraged. There is plenty of business out there for everyone. And especially in your industry, Damar, you're the first one I've heard that's a pharmacist. So think of all the pharmacists across the United States. You could just niche down, and that's the only people you serve and talk to. And you could have an extremely thriving coaching and Mailbox Power affiliate business.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right. And so, it's just a matter of one of the things that Lulu and I were talking about was just getting started and focusing in one area, and then once you get, you know, saturated with that, then you can go ahead and move on, as opposed to trying to do everything under the sun. And one of the questions that I do have that you just kind of mentioned about another gentleman who is the top affiliate. What determines, I mean, or what would be a good goal for this first year, as far as an affiliate? How many people,
So
as far as the target?
everybody is different, Damar, and that was one thing I was going to go over again. We have talked about what it takes to get your system paid for and then create an income, and it is really individual. It is based on what your goals are. There may be somebody sitting on this call that needs to replace a $10,000 income, and they want Mailbox Power to be their only income a month. And then there are other people that all they want to do is cover their membership. Or there's people that just need $500 or $1,000 to cover their mortgage or whatever it is, car payments. So that's more of an individual discussion. I'm glad to help you even on these calls. Anybody, if you say you want to make, well, let me share my screen and let's do it. So I have a spreadsheet up. Currently, if you're new, the memberships are $79 and $199. But if you've been around for a while, we added in the $149 and $49 because there are some grandfathered people right now that are on lower memberships, and we put our annual. So what is your target income through Mailbox Power that you would like to reach, Damar?
I would say that if I can do 5,000 a month with Mailbox Power.
Awesome. So the quickest way to get there is with our executive memberships. And here is our executive memberships. And right here is the quantity. And it doesn't say quantity, but let's say we put 10 here. That's 796. So if you had 30, you're at 2388. So you said 5,000. So let's do 40, 50. You can see how many customers it takes. So it's about 60 executives on the 199 to create just under a 5,000. It's probably 63. 63. I was like 63 or 64. There you go. So 63 executives. So if you want 63 executives by the end of the year, you take 63 and you divide by, there's 9 months left in the year. So 9 times 6
divided by
9 times 7 is 63.
Yep.
So you would need 7 every single month, which is about 2 a week.
Okay.
To get there in a year.
Okay.
Now, if this is your long-term goal and that's where you want to be in 5 years, then we break it down, and maybe this year you want to get to 1,500 and then to 3. You know what I'm saying? So then we break it down. But if truly that's where you want to be by the end of the year, your goal should be to bring on 63 executive members before the end of the year.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
And we did put a calculator out there in the affiliate group. We've been playing with this. I'd like to make it prettier before we share it, but all you've got to do is take the 199. These are just 40% because you earn 40%. Now, the second thing is as you bring on and have enough of customers. So you need 30 pros or 10 executive members to make super affiliate. Now you're leveraging, and now you're earning 10% on the second level. So now you're not having to do it all yourself. And let's say, so we know that Lulu signed you up, Damar. And if you went out, Lulu is a super affiliate. So if you were to go out and find 4 executives, it would be like her finding one frontline executive. Because it's 10% times 4, that's 40%, which is what she makes on the first line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So get busy.
There, yeah, Lulu's like, go get the 63. I'm all for it. Come on. But that's where the leverage starts coming in. That's the power of our affiliate model. And it's about helping. So Damar going to that team lead and talking to them, and maybe they sign up first, and then helping them to bring their team on, and they then get the commissions. Now, if you're not a super affiliate, I realize you got to get to super affiliate before that benefits you. But the power in that is, when we've talked about this, is, let's say it's Paul, I think it's Paula, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Paula. So let's say Paula goes out and gets 4 or even 3. Even if Lulu is only an affiliate, Paula's like cemented in. Paula's not going anywhere. Her membership is paid for or close to paid for. Why would she stop using the system? So that's how you leverage your business, and that's how you cement or have your baseline base, that it doesn't go away. Your customers don't go away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
You want to add anything? I saw Machen, like, did you want to add anything, Machen?
I was like, you also have got to mention the part where you become a super affiliate, and you went right into it. So I was like, I'll shut up and just pay attention. That's, it's nice to see, the commissions coming from products. So here's a buck, here's a buck, here's a buck. So I'm like, oh, there's those 3 cards I sent out today. Those 3 new people I met today, those 3 new people I added today are paid for. As far as that card going out, doesn't come out of my sending budget per se.
Right.
So that's just huge. As your downline grows, as your people that are taking a benefit here, like really getting a benefit, the more they use it, the more marketing dollars I get to go spend to go find more of those people to go do it. So it becomes actually a little bit easier, because we start to do the process and figure out the process, but also the spend. It's like, I know that my dollar's well spent versus, here, let me try this. Let me try that card. Let me try this. Let me try this neighborhood. Let me try that neighborhood. It's like, okay, I have a certain number of people signing up and a certain budget, so I can know what my spend budget is and know, like, okay, I'm going to contact 100 people this month. Like right now, literally what I'm working on is updating postcards so that I can have the QR code go to my website, and there's 100 people that have joined my, they've completed my form. There's hundreds of people that complete my form. I picked 100 of them because it has their phone number. They live in a city I want to drive to, that I can go talk to specifically. And I'm just going to send those people that postcard. And for me, I know it's like paid for in my budget, and I wasn't able to do that day one, but now that I have a downline, I can do that because I have budget coming in, marketing budget. I just go to where you get your commission thing, and I just put it back in my marketing budget, because it's better in my business for me to do that. If I had an additional $500 or $5,000 or whatever, I'm probably going to spend it on Mailbox Power, because it has a compound effect in my business.
Well, the ROI, that if you put $100 in, you probably get a $500 out, or whatever it is, depending on your business. And so why wouldn't you keep spending 100 to get 200 or 300 or 500?
I was talking about today, I did a campaign, and somebody was getting a message every 90 days, and it went for 2 years. They finally called me and said, hey, I'm ready for you to do my thing. I hate the person that was doing my website, blah, 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 blah. And they paid $26,000. So it's like, that's way better than I'll do it for $8,000. I'll do it just enough for me to barely make, lunch money.
Discount Debbie.
Discount Debbie. I like that.
Oh, I used to do that one. I mean, it's good for testimonials. Hey, if I did something, if I worked for really free for you, can you talk about it? And then you send that postcard to people. See, we do that. Whatever.
Yeah. So tagging on to what Machen just said, Teresa Oshman, if I'm saying it right. Teresa talked about, I don't remember if it was on this call or I think it was in her testimonial video that is out on YouTube. She talks about taking a business expense and making it a profit center. And so if you want to talk to businesses, you want to pique their interest, say, I can show you how to take a business expense and make it into profit center. And what business owner doesn't want to take one of their business expenses and make it a profit?
And the other thing too is I think Machen alluded or said that he's using it consistently. And I think that's the key to anything that you do. Whether it's a gym membership, whether it's a membership to Mailbox Power, if you're not using it consistently, then you're not getting the best benefit out of your dollar that's spent. So you're not always going to get immediate results, but I think Machen said it took him 2.5 years before he got a contract for a huge job. So again, it's about consistency, it's about time, and continuing to do what you know will work eventually.
So, and another thing that he said, like Mike said, is he got a big contract and it took him years to get it. Many times real estate agents or people who have a big product sale, they make a big commission, if they don't get commissions right away, get discouraged. Yet when I do my seminars that I do with real estate agents, I say, if it cost you $500 a year for 5 years to get one referral, so it would cost you $2,500, would it be worth it? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, what if in those 5 years that created 5 referrals, one a year? Well, you're making bank at that point. And most people don't. They look at the upfront expense, they look at what they're spending today and not what the return is. So the quicker that you can turn the conversation into the return and how it can be a profit center for their business, I think the faster you will grow your affiliate business and have your system paid for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Those were great questions, Damar. Thank you for chiming in and letting us help you.
Okay, good.
Now we get to ask him questions, though, right?
What was that?
Now we get to ask him questions, though, right? Totally fair, Damar.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. One of the kind of follow-up questions from Machen, is that the right word?
Yes.
He talked about budget. So like first, what we described is my goal for the year is to get 63 people. What should I set as a budget? And let's say I didn't know 63 pharmacy owners. Well, I know how to go about it. I would use the build a mailing list as part of the budget and mail directly to them. And what would I think? I mean, what would you suggest as far as a campaign for them, and what kind of dollars on a monthly basis should I be allotting for that?
Those are all great questions. And before I answer, I was going to say Machen is a marketer. So there are some other people on here. So,
okay.
Go ahead and chime in. I'll let Machen go first.
Okay, I was also waving bye to Linda, but I always raise my hand too. I am like the guy sitting at the front of class. I'd suggest to run an experiment. It's kind of a loaded question to set yourself up to get 63 signups all at once and to know what that budget is. Instead, I would start wherever you're at and do whatever you can to measure that. So like for me, when I first started, I had like $50 that I knew I could bust out on my PayPal card and put into Mailbox Power, because I wasn't really sure exactly what I was doing, but I knew that that was a number that I could start with. And I do these like virtual cups of coffee. And what I did is I just circled around with everybody that I met in like a virtual cup of coffee, which I'd been doing for years. I just reach out to people like, hey, let's use Zoom to connect. Would you like to do that? And then they go yes or no, or go away, you're creepy, or whatever. And this way, no matter what happens at the end of that meeting, I would just go send a card to them with the intention of getting a consultation. So like I had to have an intention with that card, or there was nothing to measure on the backside of that experiment. So for me, it was like, hey, I got the cup of coffee. It cost them absolutely nothing. I sent them a card. The card says, call me. Let me know you got this. If they can do that, then I will talk to them and I will consider a big conversion of $1 if they'll book the consult, because I have to put something as my goal, like how much I made. So just making that lead become like a sales qualified lead, like somebody I know. These are all marketing terms that I don't think any of us really like to say, but those are like the terms. Like somebody is a stranger, and then we meet them, and then I'm going to qualify whether or not I'm going to spend any more marketing budget on them. Sally, I don't want to play 52 pickup. Play something else. I'm knocking my poker cards over. The idea is just run an experiment. So if we say, I'm going to spend $100, we say, I'm going to spend $100. I'm going to do this. How many meetings I get? I have to get 100 meetings. If a meeting is only $1 that I'm only earning from $1, I have to get 100 meetings to make this self-liquidating or break even or whatever. And so I would start with a goal that seems reasonable, and then a goal that seems absolutely insane. Not know how to do the insane one, and make sure I stick to the plan on the reasonable one, measure the results, and we can go from there. I think Brenda has taught me some of the coolest ways I murder whatever everybody tells me. I like, what is it? There's a different word for it, but I don't know if it's a curse or not. So I'm gonna say I ruin what people say and say it my own way. But it's like we measure. Yeah, that's the word that I was gonna say. Yeah. But like we measure, and so then there's reality. And if we say like I'm gonna do all this, I've done it here. I've gone, all right, I'm gonna get 30 signups this month, 4 signups 6 months later, and I was like, I quit, right? Because reality wasn't there. And so just in marketing, the way that if I was gonna answer your question tomorrow, to answer it, I would say start with something that's in your budget, that's reasonable for you, and run that experiment. See if you get a return on what you're doing. If you do, dump more money into it. If you don't, come back to the call and say, this is what I did. Why didn't it work?
Yep.
And then you got the IQ of like,
and
a lot of
I think too, Machen, is, like you said, when you look at 63 signups in a year, I mean, that is
sounds daunting to me.
Yeah, it's well, to me, when you look at it as an ordinary person, that's huge. I mean, that'd be like trying to eat an elephant in one bite, and it just doesn't happen. So I think you're right. You have to take your time, see what works, and take the signups as they come, whether they're executives or whether they're pro signups. Because they all work, they all contribute to the monthly residual. So don't look at the big number, look at what you can get, and work on refining your skills and building the skills that it's going to take to be able to get those signups that you need to build your business.
And break it down, like I said, to monthly or weekly.
Right.
If you know that your goal is to get 8 a month, maybe your goal weekly is to talk to 10 people. So maybe you need 1 lunch and learn every single week in front of 10 pharmacists or 10 doctors. And start there. And yes, our list builder is great, but you have access as a pharmacist to pharmacist associations and LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups where there's already a community of people in your profession. And if you're already in those groups, if you're not, go seek those out, because those are going to be your best place, because you can have conversations and add value without just being pitching Mailbox Power solution, but you can share other business ideas because you're a business coach on how they can succeed. And when the topic comes up in those groups of, I'm struggling to get more clients, or I'm struggling to retain my clients, you can say, well, I actually implemented a system, and you've implemented it with your pharmacist, and these are the results we've had. If you'd like to learn more information, reach out to me. Now it's a much warmer, almost a hot lead versus just mailing to the mailing list. I'm not saying don't do the mailing list, but you might have better resources, better groups, better lists that you're already a part of, organizations you're already a part of, that I would probably start there if you have them.
Well, the other thing too is if you're networking at all, and I think we've talked about Joe Girard before on this call. Joe Girard came up with what he called the rule of 250. And if you're not familiar with that, I'd recommend that you go out and read about Joe Girard. But Joe Girard figured out that everyone knows about 250 people. And it's because of those 250 people, he figured out that if he did a great job selling a car to someone, he could potentially have 250 more customers. But if he did a terrible job of selling a car to somebody, he could potentially lose 250 customers. So he did everything he could to make the sale and then follow up on the sale and make sure everything was working right. They were satisfied. And if they were satisfied, what he would do is ask for a referral. And I think that's the part of this whole thing that sometimes we forget, is the person that you meet is just a doorway to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not asking for those referrals, you're missing the boat. So never forget that you need to ask for a referral, especially if you've done a great job with the sale, they're satisfied with what they're doing and what they're getting. Just say, hey, who do you know that could use this system that would help them in their business? And if you do that, you automatically start bringing people in that maybe you never knew before, that someone introduces you to them.
Yep. And Damar, I have a question for you, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine too. You said you are a coach for pharmacists. How many pharmaceuticals? How many clients do you currently have in that business?
Just starting. So I have one right now.
And that's the one you're talking to. So that's awesome. And like Mike said, once you get this up and running, I would say to that one, who, if you shut down today, who are the 3 to 5 that you would recommend people go to, doctors go to?
Yeah.
Those are the first 3 to 5 people that you should reach out to.
Yeah.
And work the business that way, because everybody knows somebody that they can collaborate with in their business, and that if they had to close their doors today, they know where they would send their clients generally.
Yeah.
They know who their best competition is, and somebody that they would be willing to turn their business over to. So that's where I would say you should start.
Okay. No, and it makes sense, because those are going to be a lot warmer leads than a mailing list. And what was I going to say? Likewise, going back to some pharmacy owners that I just know for a long time, and just saying, hey, I'm new to coaching. Just wanted to share with you and find out, how are you doing with your business? And probably 8 out of 10 of those calls, they'll saying, I just need more customers.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's an easy lead in to talking about a sales process, but as part of that sales process, direct mail and Mailbox Power as a result of that.
Absolutely. And track your, I'm sure as a coach, you're teaching them to do the same thing. Track your results.
Yeah.
If you talk to 5 people and you get 2 people that say yes and sign up, now you know how many it takes to get 8.
Right. Right.
You just extrapolate that out and you just keep doing that till you get to your numbers.
Yeah. 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 But I think that's a good rule of thumb is start with a number and then see how many actually convert, and then adjust your number to hit your target. So if it takes 10 to get 2, then if I want to get 8, that means
40.
40. Yeah.
Can I hop in real quick and mention something that I think I hear Jim Packard, and it's measure the activity as well.
Yes.
So if we measure our activity over the results, we can stay really consistent. Like,
Yep.
I got this app called Habit, and I put it right here on my phone. And so each day it tracks all sorts of habits, but I can just say to ask the one person every day, which is a Jim Packard thing, like ask one person or add 2 people to the list that you're going to ask every day. So tomorrow, if you've got this huge list, or you've got all these different lists of people, and they're like all over the place, it can get really overwhelming. And we make those 10 calls and we get 10 no's or 10 yeses, and it can be like, wow, or it can be like, and so just being able to go, okay, I'm asking 1. Did I do that? Yes, I did. Now the results are less important. I did what I committed to. I think that's been the really neat thing that really helped to get that 1st and 2nd and 10th and 20th and 30th and 40th. All those signups happened over time. I rarely walked into a place, even when there was 20 people that were perfect, and they had money in their wallets. I saw it. Like, why didn't they jump right then? I don't get it. It wasn't up to me. Like, we don't control that side of it, but I did follow up, and I did follow up, and I did follow up, and actually I didn't. I got this Mailbox Power thing. Yeah. And it does. And so that's really the secret thing. Oh, Zelly, come here. She's being absolutely wild. Thanks for being patient with me. But I have to share that Habit app. It's free for like 5 habits. If you want to, like, I'm tracking my jogging. I don't care about that. I'm tracking, like, did I talk to somebody? Did I post a YouTube video? Did I, those kind of things. And so I put right there on my home screen, ask 1 person or add 2 people and create a chain of that. And the longer you can make that chain last, the more likely it is that you're not getting a number of yeses. Jim Packard changed my life with that, because I was always trying to get, if I got 10 no's yesterday, I was trying to get 11 no's today. And I couldn't always do that. And then it made me feel like a failure. Or I would teach people, you got to do this. And then they would feel like a failure. And I'd feel like a failure. And I go, I don't know what I'm doing. But he gave me this other tool that would go.
It's the consistency chain. If you haven't read his book, I'm pretty sure it's called that's the name of the book, The Consistency Chain by Jim Packard. Go read it, because it's about doing something small every single day. It's very much the tortoise and the hare. Who won the race? Because he was consistent, and he didn't keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting. So consistency is the key to growing any business. And I think that's a great place, because we're coming up on the top of the hour to end the call. We have decided that we will move these calls to Monday morning. So for those of you who are happy about that, great. Those that aren't, I'm sorry. Monday morning has been a consistent call, and a lot of people showing up, and people are familiar with it. And Casey announced yesterday morning that he was no longer doing the calls on Monday morning. So we are going to move to the Monday morning time slot. If we need to, maybe the recordings will be out there, and we'll just have to play it by ear and see how it goes. But because there has been a fairly good number of people every single morning on those calls, we will move to that spot since it's available, and look forward to seeing everybody on Mondays. Yes, Lulu.
So that his call is typically 11 o'clock my time, but you guys are 2 hours behind me here on the East Coast, right?
Yes.
The
So
time
so
of the
the-
call won't change. It'll
Oh, it's
still be at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m.
a.m.
Pacific.
Pacific, 9
Oh,
a.m. Mountain. So same time. It will be with this link though. So
okay.
don't use the link from Mondays. We will try to get corporate to make that link good too, get that updated, but it will be MBP for Mailbox Power Mastermindcall.com. And Andrea will put that in the chat, but it will always be, that will be the guaranteed link to get into the call is MBP mastermindcall.com.
Oh, I said it wrong.
MBP mastermind call. Yes, put call on the end.
Don't do the first one. Let Andrea do it again.
Yeah.
Silly has something to say. You want to say Mailbox Power? Yeah. Say it.
Maybe not.
Never fails, but yay anyway.
Running back and forth.
That-
Power.
And is that starting this
Next
coming
Next-
Monday?
Yeah, next Monday. Yeah, and
Monday the 13th?
Yes, I
Yes.
think no,
Ah.
the 12th, I think is what it is.
Hey, fine.
Isn't it? 6?
Mon-
No, 13th.
next-
You're right.
The
Yes.
13th.
13th, yeah.
I may not make it on. I'll be visiting with my son, but I'm going to try to at least plug in, but I might not make it.
I'll
No
be there. I'll be
worries.
bringing friends. I'm ready.
Family is important, so we completely understand that. And if you're not on, we will miss you. But
I mean affiliates too. I mean friends and family. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
These
yes.
kids are learning what we're doing and they're paying attention. It's wild. They do.
Yep.
They hear everything. It's wild.
Awesome. Well, have an awesome week.
Before
Oh.
we sign off, I just want to say that I want to thank Casey for what he's done every Monday for the last 4-5 years. I'm not exactly sure how long we've been doing this, but thanks to Casey for the time he's contributed and for passing the torch. And we will try to do him proud and continue the call on Monday mornings.
You got it.
I look forward to it.
With that,
I have a quick question, Brenda, for you, if we could maybe just hang out for just a minute.
sure.
after. Okay.
Have a great week, everyone. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next Monday morning.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you guys.
Thank you so much.
Lots
You
of
guys are
welcome.
awesome.